Hello, and welcome to number 2 in the series of How I Got Into Healing. And I'm joined today by Alison McWhinnie and Melissa Smith, my two colleagues from the CHO. My name is Sue Knight. I'm the Chief Executive of the Confederation of Healing Organisations, or as we call it, the CHO. So I'm going to pass over to you ladies to introduce yourselves and to explain a little about how you got into healing and perhaps a little bit about your particular healing practice, style of healing that you do, and what that means for all those who are listening to us. So, who would like to go first? Go for it.
Oh, I will volunteer for that dubious honour. Thank you, Sue, for such a lovely introduction. My name's Melissa Smith. I've been a trustee of the CHO for just over a year now. I was introduced to the CHO by a lovely lady who sent me an email. This email bounced into my inbox and it literally lit up my inbox. And I looked at it and thought, oh, that sounds quite interesting, and reached out to Sue and the team. And yeah, the rest is history, really. And I think I'm just going to take my glasses off because of the reflection. It's a bit weird and a bit disconcerting. I have been around healing for a very, very long time. I initially started out in what used to be called spiritual healing when I was in my late teens and early 20s, but life took over from me a little bit, and took me in a different way, different path, and I've meandered through life, and healing and spirituality has always been on my shoulder, but not necessarily to the forefront of things until recent years. And coming through everything with COVID, I was introduced to Reiki. So I went along to find out a bit more about Reiki, did my first level healing, thought, oh yeah, this is quite good. I like this, I can do this. And it's really bringing me back into where I was when I was 18 and 20. So I did the second level Reiki and continued my journey. And then last year I trained a third level Reiki master. So I'm a fully qualified Reiki master in Usui Reiki. And so
what does that, Melissa, sorry to interrupt, but what does that mean? What do you mean by third level?
The levels, well, with Reiki training, there's 3 levels. So there's an introduction level, level 1. So you can just use that for yourself, your pets, family. But if you want to become a practitioner, then you need to train at the higher levels. So up level 2. And having done level 2, for me, it seemed natural then to do Reiki Master, which means I can actually teach other people to use Reiki as well, should I choose to do so. It's not something that I've dipped my toes into at this point in time. It's something that there's the potential for me to do in future if I wanted to. But Usui is the Japanese master who introduced Reiki to the world. So he is the originator of Reiki healing. And he, in a nutshell, he went up on a retreat up a mountain, received an epiphany, received Reiki, received all of there are sacred symbols in Reiki that we use as well. And when he came back down from the retreat, he was using the energies that he'd been given and started healing people, and realized that obviously the gift that he'd been given was incredibly powerful. And he started sharing it with other people, and it's since made its way globally. So that's where I sit now in the healing world currently.
Wow. So you have that sort of particular lineage that goes back to Usui.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a direct lineage to Usui. So I think it's about seventh level now.
Great. So watch this space.
You never know.
See how many people you train, etc. Yeah, that's great stuff.
But because of that experience, when the email came through to me to say that CHO was looking for trustees, it seemed a really natural thing to do, to reach out and to see what I could do to help to spread the word of healing and its importance and actually its relevance today as well. It's more and more relevant, but is less and less well known about, it seems, these days. So anything that we can do to share our gifts and to share what is a wonderful way to help people to improve their resilience and cope with the world as it is today, in my opinion, is a good thing.
And we're very pleased that you actually took action on that email in your inbox. Alison, go for it.
Hello, everybody. My name's Alison McWhinnie, and I'm the newest trustee on the board. I joined in January of this year. Going back to when I was a teenager and when I was first looking at career choices, healing was not on my radar at all. And if you had said to me at that time, Alison, one day you're going to train to be a healer and you're going to be involved with healing organisations, I'd have given you a very quizzical look back. It really was not on my radar. And the sorts of things I was looking at that I did go into included retail management with a nationwide retail company. I also went into charity management. I did event management, venue management. So quite commercial. And I also was a trustee of several other charities as well. In 1993, I moved into a new flat, and two of my neighbours, a husband and wife team, introduced themselves. We became great friends, and they are healers. And they actually healed at the Harry Edwards Healing Sanctuary, where I would later become a trustee and actually work. And when they told me they were spiritual healers, I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought, live and let live, didn't think anything negative, anything positive. Certainly never foresaw my future in healing at all. I just accepted them as they were. And we socialized a lot. We used to meet up on weekends a lot and have dinners together. So they became good friends. And nothing healing-wise happened for quite a while. Fast forward to 2005, and my mother was rushed into hospital very unexpectedly. A routine blood test taken by our GP had revealed a very high level of potassium, and she was in acute renal failure. And she got a phone call from the doctor saying, you need to go to hospital. And she said, okay, I'll go tomorrow. No, you need to go now. And I'm coming round with an ambulance to pick you up. Well, my mother was quite independent, and she said, no, I'll catch the bus, which she did. And the ambulance arrived with the doctor, and then they started chasing the bus route, stopping buses, seeing if my mother was on the bus, and saying this was a life and death situation. And I had two friends on one of the buses contact me, saying that they had been stopped and they didn't know what was going on, but a doctor was looking for my mother. So I eventually tracked the wee mammy down to Kingston Hospital and pitched up myself. And when I arrived, she was in resus. And they were fighting to stabilise her heart rhythm, because the kidneys and heart are very closely linked. And we were in resus for about 7 hours before she was stable enough to be moved onto a ward. And she was moved onto a high dependency ward. And so I didn't leave the hospital until about 4 in the morning. And I happened to bump into my healing neighbours the next morning as I was making my way to go back to the hospital. And they said, you look terrible. What on earth has happened? And so I relayed the story, and they said, well, would you like us to start distant healing? We can do that straight away. And I said, yes, I'll take whatever is going, please do. So the consultants at Kingston Hospital were liaising with specialists at St George's Hospital, because St George's has a specialist renal unit. And the specialists at St George's were advising Kingston on best treatment plans. I was warned it was extremely likely that Mum would need to go on to dialysis, but they would run some further tests first. So tests showed that her kidneys had shrunk and were scarred. And then, completely to my surprise and completely to the consultant's surprise, Mum's kidneys started working again. She spent a week on the high dependency ward, then spent a month on a heart ward, and then was discharged. And during that time, the consultants were saying to me, we were not expecting this outcome. And are you doing anything else in the background? And I said, well, now you come to mention it, yes, I am, expecting to be laughed out of court. And they said, well, just keep doing what you're doing because it is working. So Mum was fine for quite a number of years. In 2014, I became her full-time carer. She was becoming elderly and had developed a number of conditions, and a number of consultants accrued. And I would consistently ask my neighbours for healing help during that journey. And invariably, we had different consultants say, these results are much better than I expected. Are you doing anything in the background? And when I told them what we were doing, they just said, keep doing what you're doing. We can't understand it or explain it, but we are very guided by test results. And these test results are holding their own in a way that we would not expect with what we are just doing. And whilst I was a carer for Mum, I became a trustee of the Harry Edwards Healing Sanctuary. This was a role I felt I could do whilst being a carer, because a lot of it I could do at home. And Mum made her transition in 2018. And in 2019, I joined the staff at Harry Edwards. And I also started my training to become a healer myself at Harry Edwards, which is a 2-year course. And so that is really how I got introduced to healing, but I can speak from experience as to how healing can help. I think a lot of people think that healing automatically equals cure. It can do, and I have seen some wonderful cures, particularly at the sanctuary. But sometimes it's more about stabilizing a condition, or if somebody's about to make their transition, making that as comfortable for them as possible. Harry Edwards wrote a number of books about healing, and obviously I studied this when I was doing my healer training, and he would advise that healing can cure any condition, but it depends on the condition of the body as to whether people will receive a full cure or not. But even when somebody is seriously ill, I could see the difference that healing could make to their quality of life during that time. And therefore, healing then became part of my life. I saw an advert for the trustee role for the CHO towards the end of last year, and put in my application, and I'm delighted to be on board.
Okay, we're delighted to have you. You know, it's always very difficult to find trustees, actually. So it's just amazing that we've got such a great board at the moment. Yes, there are always more. There's always, everybody's welcome.
That's a fantastic story, Alison. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
It's very interesting, isn't it? The difference that this can bring to people's lives, and the way it comes into people's lives. Sometimes it's about some sort of crisis or trauma that people have gone through. You were going through the traumatic, eventually death of your mother, but certainly illness of your mother. And it's just fantastic how it actually helps. So Melissa, thinking more about your training, etc., is this something that anybody can do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. And you don't necessarily need to want to become a practitioner to offer healing as a job. Although saying that, this is never a job, it's more of a what's the word that I'm looking for?
Vocation.
A vocation, yeah. It as Alison said, it becomes a part of your life. It's just an everyday thing. but it's very easy, certainly with Reiki, to do a short course so that you can integrate it into your life. So it becomes a part of your daily practice, should you want it to be, to help you deal with life in general, but help pets, children and loved ones. And then if you want to take it further, you can do so that you can then offer it as to other people, as a job, as a vocation, as something that you do every day.
We'll go to level 3 and start training.
Yeah.
I shan't let you drop. I shan't let you off that one. You know that, don't you?
No, I think the one thing about that brings all modalities of healing, and there are different ways of looking at it, and different ways of sharing healing, but all of it comes down to tapping into the universal energies that surround all of us, and that actually all of us are made up of. We really don't understand properly, but we do know that actually what we call a physical body is actually energy, and without the energy that forms everything around us, including ourselves, our body couldn't do the things that it does. So, for instance, we think that our heart pumps our blood and our blood cells all the way around our body. And you think, well, how does that actually work with your fingers and your toes, for instance? Well, actually, your body, because of the energies that are in your body and the frequencies that are in your body, they're what help your blood cells squeeze through into the tiny little capillaries that are in your fingers and your toes, for instance. And without that, your blood wouldn't actually circulate around your body. It's the same as your lymph. The lymph in your body is not pumped by anything, but it still does miraculous things. So energy and frequencies are essential to our health and well-being. So what healers are doing is pulling those energies, and really what we're helping to do is to realign, refresh and free energies. And there's lots of different ways of doing that.
There's the start of another series. What is healing? What does it mean to me?
Yeah, well, I think the more you look and the more you delve, the more you find, and it's such a fascinating area, absolutely. And since I've fully stepped back into this world again, I just keep finding out more and more.
Yeah. I don't think it ever stops, really. I don't want mine to stop. I'm still learning, and I want to keep learning too. The day I stop learning is the day I stop. Alison, anything more you'd like to add about how you got into healing? You've done a lot, do you think? Because
I think
you're doing animal healing, aren't you?
Yes, I mean, I think I'd like to start by just saying a few words about my healing course, which I did at Harry Edwards, and the pathway. So I have done spiritual healing. That was what my training was in. And you have to do a 1-day foundation day, which is a taster into healing to see if it's right for you. And then you go on a 2-year course. And that is a mixture of 7 taught modules, about 15 of your own cases that you have to write up. And you have to read some books and write up reviews on the books and write a diary. And as much as it's about developing your skill as a healer, it's also about your own spiritual development. And the tutors will say to you at the start of the course, you will be a different person when you graduate from this than when you started. And to be honest, I'll be honest, I was quite skeptical when they first said that, but actually what they said was absolutely true, because you do grow spiritually and develop spiritually. A key fear I had when I first started my healing course, especially as I worked there, was, what if I can't do it? What if I can't heal? I mean, how embarrassing would that be, working there and not being able to do it? And And then, of course, my tutors pointed out, it isn't about you. You just get yourself in the right place and it comes through you, don't worry. And immediately it took a huge pressure off me. And then my next concern was, what if I fail my panel? Because we were tested by a panel at the end before you can say that you're a qualified healer. And the panel comprises usually 3 fully qualified healers who ask you a number of questions about healing, the law, biology, for about an hour. And then you have to give a demonstration of healing practice before you can take your L plates off, as it were. Boy, was I nervous for that panel, I'll be honest. And I did feel, oh, what if I don't pass? And I was absolutely delighted when I did pass. The training there was excellent. We had 3 excellent tutors where you were allowed to ask the silly question, and there were no such things as silly questions. And so that was great for the learning experience. We covered animal healing on the course, and I can heal animals now. But you rightly mentioned, Sue, that I'm about to start a more in-depth healing animals diploma with Elizabeth Whiter, which starts in May for me, which is a 1-year diploma where you do a much deeper dive and look at behaviour and diet, as well as healing animals as well.
And of course, other healing courses are available. This is not a plug for anybody.
So there's a list of different courses on the website, isn't there, that people can
website, yeah,
look at.
Our member courses are available there, as are others.
Yeah.
Actually, it's surprising when you start to look into this, just how many healers there are in the country. And quite frankly, I don't think anyone knows, because that kind of survey hasn't been done. But at one point, we were talking about sort of 22,000 throughout the country. Some of who are registered and some of them aren't. And by that, I mean that they belong to a professional association like ourselves and have the insurance and the code of conduct, etc., to cover them. And that's a whole other topic, one which I'm sure we'll cover on another video.
I think
Thank
it would
you,
be, can I just say, it would be wonderful to get more young people coming into
absolutely.
the profession. As with many other professions, people are getting older, and really we need to be bringing the young people through to succeed and to take over from us as we move on in life.
It's all about succession, not just succession for us as such, succession for healing, because if they don't come along and get into it, then it's going to die out, and that would be horrendous.
Pass the baton.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us today, and let's look forward to the next one. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.